I run that sawmill like a king on a splintered throne. Pine from the ridge, oak black as coal. Whiskey on my breath and winter in my soul. The blade bit deep in a tall old stand, and the boards rang crimson in my calloused hand. That timber wept like a widow at dawn, like the war never ended, just changed its form. Red grain revival, Lord, the dead rise slow. Through the teeth of the saw and the whistles moan. Every night holds a bullet, every ring holds pain. I've been cutting up ghosts in the blood-soaked grain. Red grain revival, hear them boots in the mud. That old mill wheel keeps turning on sorrow and blood. Old men in town said that field was cursed, where the blue and the gray laid each other in the dirt. Then the saplings drank what the preacher missed, iron bone and sin in the evening mist. I hauled those boards to a chapel job, but the pews bled through and the buyers got robbed of their peace that night when the rafters cried and a shadow with a revolver walked inside. So I buried my bottle at the roots out back, but redemption ain't riding no midnight track. Red grain revival, Lord, the dead rise slow. Through the teeth of the saw and the whistles moan. Every knot holds a bullet, every ring holds pain. I've been cutting up ghosts in the blood-soaked grain. Red grain revival, hear them boots in the mud. That old mill wheel keeps turning on sorrow and blood. Punch that clock at sundown, where the pine dust never sleeps. Closed up mill by the river bend, where the railroad moans and creeps. My lantern shakes like a drunkard's hand, my flask tastes cold and mean. Every knot in them stacked fresh logs holds a face I should have seen. Old men in town say hush your mouth, let the dead wood lie. But when that moon slides across the blade house roof, Lord, something starts to cry. Them fresh cut timbers scream tonight when the moon drags silver through the teeth like sinners under a preacher's light, like a razor laid on whiskey breath. I grip my revolver, praying low, but prayer don't reach that killing floor. Them fresh cut timbers scream tonight for the men that ain't come home no more. Past grease and rust and chain, found names carved deep in the loading dock, beneath the dried black stain. My daddy's name, my brother's too, lost in a flood pale light, so cheap as pork to a company man with a clean white collar and eye. The logs were green from the upstream camp, cut fresh where the bad men fell. And every pass of moon on iron raised up, bed buried hell. I lit a match to the tally books, watched the ledgers curl and bloom, while the blade sang back like Judgment Day inside that sawdust tomb. Them fresh cut timbers scream tonight when the moon drags silver through the teeth like sinners under a preacher's light, like a razor laid on whiskey breath. I left my revolver by the door, let the fire settle every score. Them fresh cut timbers scream tonight, for they won't be trapped there anymore. Every Friday sundown, that black coal line crawls out the cut like judgment through the hickory walls. No whistle, no lantern, no man at the brake, just iron smoke and a porch light starting to shake. Stops by the farmhouse where the cane rolls lean, leaves on wet boot glistening mean. Mama crossed herself, said, boy, don't you look, since Daddy rode that freight down Devil's Creek Brook. One wet boot on the porch, one soul in the rain, cold dust on the threshold, whiskey in my veins. That engine's got no engineer, but it knows this land. Comes calling every Friday like a curse that's asking for him. I was 16 summer with a revolver hit when I found Daddy's Bible and the note he did. Sold my name for silver, but the track won't do. If it can't drag me under, it'll come for you. Then the screen door moaned and the night got cold. That boot still dripped like a story half told. Inside was his wedding band, black as a bruise, and the smell of river mud and old caboose blues. So I took that boot and I walked to the rails. Moon cut shop of sorrow, Payless County Jail. Said take back your bargain, leave my house be. The train rolled on empty and left the other boot for me. One wet boot on the porch, one soul in the rain. Cold dust on the threshold, whiskey in my veins. That engine's got no engineer, but it knows my name. Comes calling every Friday and I ain't the same. Now I hear the tides groan like a graveyard hymn. One wet boot on the porch means it's coming for kids. Down in a pawn shop off the railroad bend, a preacher found a harp in a dust-choked bin. Brass gone green, case smelled like rain. Shopkeep said, son, that thing knows names. He laughed through the whiskey on his collar and chin, took it back past the pines where the graveyard grins. When he breathed one note, the room turned cold, and Rock of Ages crawled out slow. That old harmonica cries in the dead of night, only sings for souls that won't see morning light. Soft as a prayer, sharp as a draw goodbye. Every holy line is a warning sign. From the jailhouse drunk to the gambler's wife, it moans like judgment under kerosene light. And the preacher shakes while the rafters rise. Hear them hymns before sunrise. First was a drifter with a scar and a smile. He tipped his hat, stayed only a little while. The harp sang leaning low and strange. By dawn his blood was on the freight train. Then a cold-eyed widow in a black silk dress came for a blessing and a little rest. It wheezed nearer, my God, through the chapel door. They found a ring by the river shore, so he packed that devil reed and a nickel-plated gun. Rode to the crossroads praying he could outrun whatever ghost lived in that rusted chrome, but it played for him in the dark alone. That old harmonica cries in the dead of night, only sings for souls that won't see morning light. Soft as a prayer, sharp as a draw goodbye. Every holy line is a warning sign. Now the preacher kneels where the black crows rise, with a six-shot sermon and terrified eyes. Last thing he hears as the stars all die, them hymns before sunrise. dragged that iron rake through the red clay yard. Moon like a nickel, wind cutting hard. Whiskey on my breath, dirt in my veins, tending to the sinners in the cold black rain. By the potter's fence where the shadows lean, 3 fresh stones stood where there'd been nothing seen. Chiseled neat as scripture, pale as bone. Every death date card was tomorrow at dawn. Tomorrow in stone. Lord, my hand knew the line, same crooked letters that I wrote 100 times. Dust on my boots and a tremble in my soul when the dead start signing with the hand you control. I heard the railroad cry and the night birds moan, my own name waiting there, tomorrow in stone. Saw my name below where the wild weeds grow, beside a preacher's son and a girl from the tracks, all cut in my script with the same old cracks. I checked my shed for the hammer and steel, found fresh white powder on the chisel still, and a muddy set of prints by the tools and lime, pointing from the grave straight back to mine. Got a 38 revolver and a Bible gone thin, one for the devil, one for my sin. Sat on a headstone till the sky bled gray, begging them crows not to call my day. Tomorrow in stone. Lord, my hand knew the line, same crooked letters that I wrote 100 times. When the first sun broke, I heard cold earth groan, and my shack door swung where I left it closed. Now the wind works a graveyard, I don't work no more, just a name in the dust. Tomorrow in stone. I was south of Elk on a blacktop vein with a dashboard camera and the sky gone strange. Dust in my teeth, cheap whiskey breath, chasing that twister like a railroad death. Then the clouds split wide in the sodium light, and I saw a man's face in the heart of the night. Eyes like hell, jaw made of rain, calling those sinners by their Christian names. Don't hunt the righteous, don't circle the young, It follows men who live deathbed words undone. From shotgun shacks to the county line, it comes for a vow left to rot with time. You can run them gravel roads, clutch your gun, but a promise in the funnel still weighs a ton. Sheriff Boone flew past in a rust-red Ford, silver revolver and a cross on the board. His daddy begged, son, bury me clean by your mama's stone where the cedars lean. But Boone chased oil and a ballroom bride, left the old man boxed by the railroad side. When that face hit glass, Boone turned bone white, and the wind took his headlights out of sight. I filmed that rap through a cracked up pane, heard a voice in the thunder call my own last name. I recalled my brother in a hospital glow, said I'd watch his boy, then I let him go. Now it hunts a faithless, and I hear it hum for the men who swore, then turned and run. Dust on the Bible, blood in the sun, a promise in the funnel still ain't undone. So if the sky grows teeth and the sirens moan, pray your dying man's words ain't left alone. I was dealing on the Delta with a bottle and a grin, blackjack on a riverboat, losing saints and sin. A one-eyed man in a funeral hat slid a paper across the green, said I lost this town to high water, now it belongs to what you've seen. It was inked with iron crossings, a church, a well, a square, and a date, 1912, like a grave cut in the air. Down where the cold mud keeps her secrets, down where the catfish knows old bones. That drowned town still lights some windows, like the Lord forgot to leave it alone. I heard them bells through the black water, felt my revolver turn to stone. Ain't no card sharp outrun judgment when lanterns burn below. I rode them railroad edges where the cane fields choked the moon, with whiskey in my saddlebag and midnight coming soon. The locals crossed themselves and said, boy, don't chase that glow. When the church lights up beneath the flood, somebody's called below. I found the bank at deadfall, where cypress shadows kneel, and there under glass at devil black, them steeple lights were real. I saw pale faces in the windows, Sunday best and water skin, and the dealer with the funeral hat was smiling back again. Down where the cold mud keeps her secrets, down where the catfish knows old bones, the drowned town still lights some windows, like the Lord forgot to leave it alone. I heard them bells through the black water, felt my revolver turn to stone. I won a map and lost my shadow, the lanterns burn below. I parked my rusty Chevy by the courthouse steps at dusk, boot heels in the sawdust, badge buried under rust. Them windows wore black cobwebs, moon hung like a noose, and every boy complained my name like he knew the truth. I lit a cheap cigarette, took one swallow of rye, heard a tinny little hymn drift where the records used to lie. Not the wind through broken shutters, not a train down by the pine, but the rounds I sent through flesh and law come back to harmonize. The walls full of lead started singing low, every bullet had a voice from a life I let go. One cried for a gambler, one moaned for a boy, one laughed like the devil at the badge I destroyed. In that abandoned judgment hall, with the shadows dressed in black, every shot I ever fired came right in with me back. There was Benny at the bar door, hand twitching for his gun. There was Sarah's drunken husband in the fever of the run. There was one I swore was righteous, one I never should have drew, and the plaster kept on ringing with the lies I called the truth. I dropped down to the pew where the jury used to pray, set my revolver on the pine like I could give the dead their say. But the choir only rose higher through the mildew and the gloom, till dawn found me gray and shaking in that cold and haunted room. Ain't no preacher in the county gonna wash this iron clean when the courthouse keeps confession in the cracks and in the beams. The walls full of lead started singing low, every bullet had a voice from a life I let go. One cried for a gambler, one for a boy. One laughed like the devil at the badge I destroyed. In that abandoned judgment hall, with the shadows dressed in black. Every shot I ever fired came right in with me back.